Yeah, Rick, as you kind of talk about pathway for juniors, right? Most kids coming up, if they want to get into tennis, right, all they need is a court, a racket, and a ball. Let's talk a little bit about the technology you guys need in terms of these wheelchairs, and obviously what's been changed since you began to what we see now. And as you said, some of it's giving advantage, to where it's getting lighter and faster. But talk about the angle of the wheels. Talk about what it costs to find this and how you can tailor make it for your own physical ability. And then obviously how that then passes down through the juniors, as you said.
Yeah, great question. As we all know, racket technology, string technology, shoe technology, things change, they evolved. And we probably wouldn't want to play with an old wooden racket nowadays when we have some of the things that we have these days. And yeah, you have a little bit of respect thinking that those players back in the day played with the equipment that they did and did as well as they did. For us, the sport-specific wheelchair has been a huge leap in the competition on the court. As I mentioned, when Brad first started playing, we've all kind of seen the standard clunky, big, heavy 40-pound plus hospital type wheelchairs with the footrest out front and the armrest and the high backrest and the push handles and those types of things. Well, in the earlier 80s to mid 80s, we started experimenting. And when I say we, it wasn't me, but it became a part of what was taking place in the wheelchair sports sphere, was that we were looking at what can be done to make chairs lighter, to make them faster, to make them more stable, so they would turn better, and again, minimize the limitation of the chair and actually enhance the on-court performance. And so instead of cold rolled steel like those standard hospital chairs were made out of, they started making them out of aluminum. They started switching to tires that could take a higher pressure in them. Typically, it may be a bicycle tire is, 65, 70, 80, 90 pounds. A road bike is maybe going to be there and higher. But we were pushing up to 120 plus PSI in tires. So there was less rolling resistance on the tire. Two of the other things that were really significant is we started changing the camber in the wheels, the rear wheels. It used to be that we were pretty straight up and down because we still needed to get through doorways. We only had one chair we traveled with and we got around with, and then we went on the court and competed in that chair.
It's crazy.
So we had to make it that it still could get us from point A to point B, not just perform well on the tennis court. Then the sport, well, let me just real quickly. So on the camber, that started changing a little bit more as we started transitioning to a sport-specific wheelchair. So the rear wheels, it's actually negative camber because the bottoms of the wheels are further out than the tops. Yeah, exactly. We thought 8 and 10 and 12 and 15 degrees was pretty extreme and pretty good. Nowadays, they're 18 to 20 degrees of camber. And those things, it's almost like if the wind blows, it will turn that chair. They are balanced and dialed in and set up that well that it's very, very little rolling resistance. So with the tire pressure, with the chair design and setup, the materials that they use in the early days, this is the other thing that's kind of interesting and a little bit funny to me as well. We did not use an anti-tip behind us. We just thought we just need 4 wheels and we just have to be careful how far we lean because we just didn't want to deal with them. We didn't think it was necessary. And so you'd see a player go over every once in a while and somebody runs out, helps them up, or they can get up themselves sometimes. But we did not have the advantage of being able to lean back into our backrest.
I have a horrible question. I have a horrible question. Was that ever part of strategy? Were like players more known for like going over?
There were some that pushed the envelope a little bit more.
Is that right?
And now again, you think about, like we talked with the camber, the chair is far more stable now for turning and for leaning or reaching for a ball. The chair is longer than it used to be. Again, we wanted the chair kind of small and short and compact. So again, we could get through doorways and get around places, in and out of things and things like that. So nowadays, the chair, yes, you can reach further. You are more stable when you turn with that anti-tip. Some use 2 anti-tips in the back, leaning back for the serve or leaning back into the backrest as you're executing a turn. to make that turn that much quicker, or coming out of a turn to make that turn much quicker, and recovering and getting back to your place on the court, your mobility patterns ready for the next ball. The chair design is amazing. If you've never sat in one and you haven't ever have an opportunity just to get in it, number one, to see how amazingly responsive they are. But number two, to see, you know what, this having a racket in my hand, grabbing a push rim, pushing a wheelchair, turning, hitting a ball, recovering is a little harder than these players make it look these days.
Isn't there video of Novak trying it and just absolutely
getting smoked,
not looking like he's the most accomplished player of all time?
Yeah. And there are others that have done it as well. And again, oftentimes we can't really appreciate what other people do until we maybe get to experience that a little bit more. And that's not just me or people in wheelchairs. I mean, we think about all walks of life. It's obvious I'm in a wheelchair, something's happened. How many other people in the world, which is basically everybody, are dealing with something in their life at some point in time? Life is not fair, fun, or easy for anybody. And we've all got challenges, and we're all trying to figure those things out, help each other along. But sometimes, that experiencing it firsthand gives you a fresh perspective on then what you actually see somebody like a Tokido or something doing on the court these days.